Today, I'm going to check out my favorite supercar, the Maserati MC20. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Brown Panda here. I'm going to just step right over here because I want to introduce you to my boy, Dylan, behind the camera today, taking this thing to a whole new level with your expertise in this, man. Thanks for doing this, brother.
Absolutely. Glad we could have you out, Pete.
Well, and we're actually down here at Glenview Luxury Imports in Glenview, Illinois. So if you are here in the Chicago area, this place is crazy, filled with all of the cars that haunt my dreams, including this car right here. And one of the reasons I'm so excited about this particular car is because you know I'm a Maserati fan, right? As the owner of some Maseratis in the past, I have a special affinity for them. You know, they're kind of unique in the car world, but Maserati has never really had a true supercar, like in, I guess, my estimation. But they have totally knocked it over the MC20. When they came out with the MC20, originally, I was super stoked about it. But then when they came out with the Cielo, the retractable hardtop, that was the car that blew my mind and said, dude, that is making me hot. So this one is sitting right here. So I want to take a look at it. We won't be doing a test drive or anything, but I do want to show you around the car. So first of all, I want to show you all the details here because you are probably thinking about getting Maserati MC20. Or maybe you're not. And maybe you just want to lust after it like I will. But the first thing, what you notice here is kind of like all the dark parts here. And the funny thing about this is it's almost like two parts. So the chassis, which is carbon fiber, is actually made by Dallara. So it has solid, real racing pedigree. And then the car is kind of built to obviously look like this. And actually, it's very similar to the new Alfa Romeo limited edition. I think it uses the same chassis. So you know this thing could actually race if you want to. And I really appreciate that because there are so many supercars or hypercars that are not really cars that are meant to do amazing things on the track. They're just meant to look a certain way, but this one can probably do it, even though I think this is more of like a GT skewing car than anything else. Now, the other thing that I really love about this is that these headlights and the whole front end here just look sick to me. I mean, they've got the scalloped piece here, the hood right there, obviously the trunk right there. It's not going to hold a bunch of stuff. And I just think this looks great. And the big difference with this and some of the other supercars is that we get right here a kind of divergence of the angles from the hood to the windshield. A little bit Ferrari-like to me, but so many super hypercars try to flatten this line out to give kind of a straight line all the way through. And I love the fact that they embrace a little more vertical windshield. So it doesn't maybe look as kind of rakish as a Huracan or the Aventador or something like that. But I think that kind of speaks to the kind of car it is. This probably makes the driving amazing. The other thing that I didn't realize here is that we've got one windshield wiper. So very similar to some of the old 90s Mercedes, one windshield wiper streaking across. I actually think that makes a lot of sense. So you'll get to be able to save some money. You know, when you want to replace that wiper, you know what I'm saying, Dylan? You don't want to buy two $20 wipers, now you can just buy one. So if you think about it, this car is actually very economical in the long run. The other thing that I really love about this is that Maserati wheels, they all kind of really have that trident shape, that homage in the wheel or the spoke pattern. And so I really love those because Maserati really embraces it. Now, if this were the hard cover for the hardtop car, you would actually see that trident cut away into the left side of the plexiglass over the edge of it, but this one does not have it because it is the Cielo. I actually don't know if I'm saying that right. The other thing that I really like about this is that sometimes these headers, so like on the retractable hardtops, can get very, very long. So it's kind of hidden a little bit here, some of the width and the girth of this kind of in the black here, but it's not super long. Actually, on the Alfa Romeo 4C removable hardtop, this piece got really long. And so you have this piece very close to your head. This definitely seems much more open to me. And I think you would feel that open air, wind in your hair feel. I also like and appreciate, right, the dark here. This is actually the painted or the flat color. You can get this in like the unpainted carbon fiber, but that's an extra option. And I think it's like 20 grand or something like that. I actually like this, but I've seen it in the carbon fiber too, and they look great too. So you can kind of hide this. You can't really do anything about this. This doesn't come in a body color down here all the way around. But if you got like the darker colors, the black or the, the grays or something like that, that would be hidden. Also, what's kind of cool here is you've got this MC20 badge, and then you have these 3 cutouts here, and that is to represent the 3 portholes that you see on most of the Maseratis. So you don't have any portholes here. They don't do any of those fake portholes. Nothing really up here to cool off anyway, but you get a little bit of a tribute there. Now, before we go any further, I want to show you the real cinematic works. This is the craziness of this car. So we get, a scissor door. This is very common on the McLarens. It's not, a Lamborghini style door. But what I feel like you don't get in so many really expensive cars are crazy, awesome billionaire doors. Not doors that go like this, doors that look like this, or like this, right? This is billionaire door status. That is the crazy thing about this. And now on the inside here, you can see the carbon fiber pattern. It almost looks like a crushed or forged carbon fiber there. But honestly, I just opened that door and it is super light. And even though the materials here are going to be super luxurious, obviously leather wrapped everywhere, you got the red stitching, the Alcantara on the door handles. It is simplified a little bit. So you get almost like a camera case type of handle here. So you can see kind of the metal hardware and then a really nice big thick padded handle right there. So you just pull that down. But how cool is that on this price point, I mean, there are lots of Ferraris that you can spend more on and get regular doors. Who wants that? You know what I'm saying? So you can see the tub here kind of cuts in and it almost looks like an F1 car. Really, really cool. Huge strut right there. And then inside, and really beautiful. The interior of the MC20s is pretty similar all the way around. But on the original versions, that center dial was actually a piece that was designed to look like a watch. And so it didn't have an active screen on it. Now it has that LCD screen, so it's even a little bit more functional. I'm kind of torn. I love the functionality. I love all the digital stuff. But I also kind of did like the fact that that dial looked like a watch because, I love watches too. And a lot of watch guys are car guys. And so there's kind of that carryover. So you're going to lose that, but I get that it's more functional. You also get that big TFT display or LCD display out in the middle. It's actually very much like the Lotus Emira is to me. And then probably the weird thing about this is I don't know if it's actually something they did to actually make it more affordable, but kind of the center console, it almost looks like an armor piece. You can see that it's bolted on the sides there. It's carbon fiber, kind of straddles that middle console, kind of probably is more protective of the Alcantara and that center console. And it's almost like an exoskeleton. I really like that for some reason. It's kind of just a little bit different. It doesn't try to do the Mercedes whole integrated, no open gaps kind of thing. And for some reason that I just kind of dig. It just kind of looks like an Iron Man piece. The other thing I've noticed here is that on the Cielo, you get this little glass window. So, on so many cars, you have to think about what's my hair going to do? Not in my case, or if you're going bald like me with that receding hairline, less of an issue. But I love the fact that that goes up there. When the top goes up, that seals it off there. But obviously, with the top down, you can see that that's up there. So you shouldn't get as much draft in the car. Now, again, you get the little portholes mimicked on the side here. No opening there. The top actually sits right underneath here. And so you actually, when this pops up, you can't see the engine, which is a little bit of a shame in this one. Because it's a really cool engine. Although weirdly, if you look at the hardtop ones and you pop over the engine, it looks a little small and it looks like it's sitting way down, which is obviously good for a number of reasons. You lower that center of gravity, but it's a little small because it's a V6, it's twin turbo, and in this engine, which is now really Maserati's first in-house bespoke motor, not using something that's a Ferrari derivative. The pre-combustion chambers with the spark plugs are supposed to help it burn more evenly, be a little more powerful. I mean, it's just supposed to be a crazy motor for being as small as it is. 600 plus horsepower, definitely puts in supercar territory and just makes me hot. Makes me a little feverish. You know what I'm saying? Look at these side intakes on here. Obviously, they have to figure out where these are going to go on the retractable hardtop. So they have really opened them up on the side here. These are huge, and that should let in a ton of air. It's interesting. The gas cap would be right there. And then we would have the trunk lid right here. Now, one of the things that I've kind of noticed is that Maserati MC20s, to me, have maybe the best trunk space in a supercar, maybe second to the Corvettes and similar to the Lotus Emiras, because like in a Huracan, you would think that there would be some trunk space behind it, but there isn't. So it's kind of something that I remember being a real differentiator for the NSX. But what's probably most interesting to me is that the camera is up here. So you've got the rear camera up there and you've got one right here, but maybe this one goes to the mirror and maybe this one looks down so that you can back up without breaking anything. The other thing that I think is kind of interesting about these rear taillights, which I think look good. They're pretty understated, but they are very much hearkening to the Maserati Gran Turismos of the previous generation. They kind of open up here and then they kind of pinch off to the edge. I feel like Maserati's current light ethos is kind of like a drop-off edge on the outside, kind of creating like almost like a cover over a trim or something like that. So these taillights have a little bit of a different look to me than some of the other Maseratis. I don't mind that. I'm just saying I call them out as a little bit different. But when I look at these, I think back to my Gran Turismo and I say, oh, dude, they totally lifted the light pattern or design for the Gran Turismo and put it on here. And then obviously on the back here, this is where all that carbon fiber would be from the Dallara world, two exhausts in the middle here, huge diffuser. I mean, everything about this is so sexy. It looks awesome. I have seen some of these on the road. They are very striking and they will definitely get your attention just as much as any other exotic. And like I said, I just feel like you just want to go out and enjoy, have a nice Saturday afternoon out. And they are, as far as I've heard, super easy to live with. They could almost be a daily driver, whereas some exotics you just wouldn't want to do that. But this one, yes, billionaire doors, the look, the pedigree, absolutely. And with this red, it's definitely like a darker metallic red. I mean, this is going to go out into. I'd personally option mine in a dark metallic gray or maybe a black, something a little dark and mysterious. Well, not like me, but at least like my coffee.
What have we got on the sticker?
All right, so right there it says 308 095, but I'm telling you, you come in here to Glenview Luxury Imports, I bet you could get it for 308. They'd knock off that 95. You know what I'm saying? But at $300,000, I actually feel like this is a really good price for a car that has this much bang. That's a little weird for me to say, but when you think about a Huracan, which is kind of like the entry level Lamborghini, an event store is going to be $480 or something like that. Especially when I look back at some of the other Maseratis, like the high end Gran Turismo was going to be in the high 100s, 200. That price point puts you at a lot of other legit supercars. So to have a car at 300, maybe a little under for the hard top or the coupes, I think this is actually a crazy good deal. I think it's a livable supercar and all that. This would be my choice for a supercar. So many cars you can look at. It's like, to me, you look at some of the parents, and I don't know if that's a $200,000 or a $600,000 or a $1.2 million. You could look at this and someone would say it's $1 million car and it's only $300,000, right? Only. But I want to get in this guy. Disappear with it. That is the walk around Peter Brown Panda here. Out.